Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Makersplace by Whale. Today we'll be exploring an incredible collaboration called Murals to the Metaverse, comprised of 8 of the Bay Area's most renowned artists. Today I'm here with Rachel Wolf Goldsmith. She's the artist and organizer of this collaboration. And I also have Asan Jathmal. He's the founder of Endeavors Oakland. And they are going to be hosting the live drop party tonight for Murals to the Metaverse at Tribune Tower. So welcome and thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course. So for those who are unfamiliar, Rachel and Asan, can you talk about your background and what sparked the inspiration to create the Murals of the Metaverse project?
Gotcha. Well, my background is as a muralist artist, and recently kind of moving into the digital art as by way of iPad and design. Asan is a good friend of mine, and we've worked in Oakland in the community together for a while now. He has helped me get various mural jobs and worked on production on those projects with me. And he had access, with Endeavors, had access to this amazing space at the Tribune Tower, which is like this incredible antique old school building. It has like a patina copper roof and the clock tower, and super epic. And he brought me up to the 5th floor, which is just like an open warehouse space, and pretty much like got overtaken with the idea to just cover everything with murals and find a way to turn them into NFTs. So we, dove into this journey a couple months ago, and have come out of it with some pretty cool stuff. So that's my story.
That's pretty much the story as it goes. I personally I own a art gallery called Good Mother Gallery in downtown Oakland, and so I've been, I guess, just more of a curator or a gallery owner in the art scene. I don't actually, not an actual artist myself, but a creative, I would say. And the Tribune being the most iconic building in Oakland, and us, me being able to hold some space in there and claim some community space by just working with the developer and allowing for that to happen, especially during the pandemic, was kind of a big deal. And then knowing Rachel and all the projects we've done together, and the whole buzz with NFTs at that time, or still, was like kind of just a natural, I guess, occurrence of like getting as creative as possible with the space and bringing all those artists in there, and then just really experimenting to see what we could create for the digital NFT offering. And I think we came out with something pretty interesting as a collective or a collaboration, as well as a digital artwork.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and I really wish that I could be in Oakland to actually experience the immersive space. So I wanted to say the artists that are in this collaboration include yourself, Rachel Wolf Goldsmith, Jet Martinez, Joshua Mays, Bud Snow, Vogue TDK, Yabe Media, Rough Draft, and Jeremy Patterson. And so what you did is you turned the 5th floor of the Tribune Tower into, quote, a menagerie of art and technological innovation. With multiple participating artists, how would you characterize the diversity in art styles with all these artists?
Asan, do you want to speak to that, or should I?
Go ahead. Give it
All
a
right.
give it a whirl.
I guess I curated the space with keeping in mind I wanted it to be very multicultural and representative of like many different styles and kind of borderless within that. And so, Vogue is probably one of the most legendary graffiti artists in the Bay Area. And he's pretty well known as far as graffiti goes in general. We have Bud Snow, who is a really incredible, she calls it neo-primalist. It kind of has a pop art surrealist vibe that's very like psychedelic inspired and playful and like sexual. And then Joshua Mays is like an epic Afrofuturist painter. He is known for his like 15-hour painting sessions all night, and will like call at 9 a.m, like just winding down happening. So he's always diving into anything futuristic. He's creating new worlds. A project called Olgaruth that has like all of these different cities and locations and characters within it that you could expect to see coming into the NFT space as well. And then Jet Martinez, who's this really incredible artist who does kind of reinterpretations of Mexican folk art. So he's from, I don't want to get it wrong. I want to say Oaxaca, but I could be wrong. But he's from Mexico. And so he kind of takes these traditional.
Oop, your sound just cut out, Rachel.
And then Rough Draft is a photographer. And so we did these really large scale vinyl installs of his street photography that were taken during the uprisings after George Floyd's murder in 2020. And there are just some really powerful black and white large scale images from that.
Rachel,
there's me.
I want to repeat Jet Martinez real quick before you got cut off for a second.
Oh, yeah. Somebody called me. Yeah, Jet Martinez is an amazing artist from Mexico who reinterprets Mexican folk art and traditional floral patterns with like a modern contemporary twist.
I love it. I wish I could go to this event in real life. It sounds like it's so cool. But it sounds like what you've done with the NFTs is you described it as transporting people into this 3D world. So do you want to talk about how you're translating this immersive experience with the drop that you're doing today?
Yeah. So I was like, what are we going to do with these now that we made the murals? And so I got one of the new iPads that has 3D scanning capabilities. And I took 3D, like a super high resolution 3D scans of all of the walls because we really wanted to maintain the integrity of the art itself and not just animate a photo of a wall,
right,
or add some kind of smoke or something moving. We wanted to fully transport these walls into another dimension, right? So we ended up connecting with Jeremy Patterson, who is DIYJ, and he was like the missing piece to our puzzle that took all of these raw 3D scans and built out the wall so that it still had that structure to it. And kind of put it in these alternate realities. And we really just like let him creatively flow with that and, take in what the artist had created and build an environment around that. So we really like didn't know what to expect. And then they, came back over to us and we're pretty blown away.
It seemed like a little bit cooler than just uploading a photo of the mural itself. I think we really wanted to participate in like the whole digital experience, and all the artists have not, I think beyond Bud Snow, have not really dabbled into NFTs, and so it's like I don't know if you would call this a Genesis NFT for everyone, but this is everyone's like kind of first NFT that they're minting and for sale. So it makes it really cool because it's literally our version of what we think an NFT is and how we think this physical art can be displayed in the metaverse, which makes it really cool because we also have a real space that has it installed, which makes it even a whole different, like almost level or layer of interaction and engagement, because now we get to actually have people in the space looking at the actual NFTs physically and then hopefully take them home.
Yeah, I was wondering, what the experience was for each of the artists in this collaboration, if this was their first foray into NFTs or if any of them had been immersed in this space at all yet before. But that's awesome that you've taken, I feel like mural art is definitely neglected in this space. I can't think of a single project that's focused on that. And I think it's really innovative that you've got this AR component to it. And that's like really exciting. And that, if people can get into that space, they can actually experience it in meat space. I was curious, how long is this? How long will the exhibition be on display on the 5th floor at Tribune Tower?
So we've had it up like right when we did the installation, we had augmented reality applied to every single mural, and we ran tours for a few weeks. And we also had community events. So our opening event, we had somebody fitting people for custom gold grills. We had a social justice organization onboarding people to support our Oakland community and those who are struggling. And then we had music. We had this amazing Nigerian woman who makes elixirs and juices. And so we had that going on. We were running tours that were augmented reality versions of the murals. So when people would come through, they would get like a 15-minute onboarding onto kind of what NFTs are and how these murals are becoming NFTs. And then they would engage with the augmented reality, which essentially turns the entire wall through looking through your phone, turns the entire wall into a screen that is playing an interview with the artist with behind the scenes footage of the creation. So that was all running for a couple months. We had it up and we did some private events and whatnot. And then this is kind of our closing event. So now they're officially NFTs. We will have the augmented reality installation. So when people come, they'll be able to see the NFTs by holding up their phone in front of the mural and creating that portal into looking at that video of the NFT itself. And then, you know, at the end of the night, they may or may not be disappearing.
Oh, so that's part of the surprise for the eve. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything else. I have a question from one of our viewers, Subspace. Since this type of exhibit is transitory, is there a consideration of creating a full VR experience and offering that as an NFT itself? And there's a follow-up question to that too. But
I was one of the first thoughts was actually to make it like a 3D, like a Matterport kind of scan. Was the first thought to offer the space as a whole as a VR experience. But I think that's definitely something we'll probably end up exploring with future shows. Like, actually, I wanted to do a quick shout out to Yi Ying, who actually introduced me to Makerspace.
Oh yeah. We love her here.
And the whale community in whole, because when Yi Ying first heard about the project, she was offering up a bunch of different ideas and trying to connect us to the whale community to do a show that we were trying to do as well, like an NFT gallery show, but which would have involved a little bit of VR. But I think we were just trying to catch up with the actual concept of NFT in the first place. So it was really hard to do anything that was beyond what we thought we knew what we were doing. So, but you know, there was a lot of inspiration there from, like, you know, learning from the whale community and Yi Ying especially. So, but the VR thing, I think, is for future shows definitely something cool. But I think we're trying to get like to the next show. Like, this show's really.
We just need a bigger team. Like, if somebody wants to come rock VR with us and is super inspired by this project, like, we want them to come work with us. But essentially, we've self-funded everything. Yeah. Every artist contributed for free, no guarantees on anything. So it was really like it was really a project of passion and inspiration and, you know,
an exploration. Like, we literally were like, hey, you guys want to try to see if we can figure this out? And this is what we came up with, which I think which makes it makes it pretty cool in my eyes, like to be able to have this result, going into space, not knowing much of anything.
Yeah,
so yeah, definitely collaborating with other guys, with other people out there that are doing this innovatively would be super cool.
Yeah, and that's cool that Yi Ying was in your corner from the beginning on this. She's such a great person and super talented. And I think for a first foray into this world, like, you really thought about, you know, how to make this more interactive and fun. And sort of a follow-up to that question, Eliscavia was asking, if the art is transitory, how do you capture or replicate that in a medium that's designed for permanence? But I kind of feel like, you know, murals do have a shelf life, like they can decay and erode over time. So I don't know, NFTs can actually make that permanent. But anyway, I would like to hear your thoughts on that.
That essentially, I mean, you kind of wrapped it up, right? It's like, even thinking about what future collections are going to be. And we do actually have, like, Bud Snow has produced some murals, mural NFTs, where it was like artwork, where then if somebody bought the NFT, she would paint the mural. But the NFT is kind of making it permanent in a way that we are just not able to guarantee with something that's out on the street that could get built in front of, or an earthquake could knock the building down, or the rain, will eventually wear and tear. So it's kind of an interesting ledger, even to like what a building or a city looked like at a certain point in time, that, as cities change so rapidly, like, memorializing a mural.
Yeah.
Kind of provides that like window into what this point in time looked like and felt like, and what the architecture was, and all of that,
Yeah. And, I was also thinking too, like getting back to the idea that, a typical mural can actually, change over time. Have you ever thought about creating a mechanic using a smart contract where the artwork actually could decay over time, or something would change about it, like they age, or based on the number of sales or the time of year?
Anyone knows how to do that?
That
I'm sure we've got somebody in the community that could help with that. Because
talk to me.
Idea.
Sounds super cool. That sounds like a whole nother layer of possibilities. Like,
yeah,
what we try to do with these, I think if you look at them, it's more than just a photo, like a one view of the mural, like standing in front of it looking at the mural. You're kind of trying to tell a story of what the mural's about, and like being able to see it in like a 3D context, where it's like, it's just kind of like you capture a lot of the feeling of the mural by just it being in this like 3D space, instead of just looking at this flat image, and with its motion. And I think it kind of tells, like, whenever I look at it, I feel like I'm looking at a wall, which is kind of cool to be able to have that feeling when you're looking at a screen. And and like to be able to, I've heard of those time projects where like an NFT will, like a tree will grow over the course of time, or like it interacts with like the daytime or the weather. That
idea.
That would be so cool. That just takes me.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I personally don't know how to do it either. And I also need to give credit to Nightmare for that question, because when we were talking about this project together, he had that question, and I'm like, yo, you're really smart. Like, that's a great idea. I wouldn't know how to do it though. I'm not sure if he knows how, but he probably knows someone that can help. Yeah, so maybe we'll talk after about that, because I think that this project is gorgeous, and like absolutely could be extrapolated on with more artists in the future in other spaces, or especially in VR. I think it would be great, because then people that can't get to the actual space can have the experience of feeling like they're in it.
Oh, and I forgot to mention that the reel that you have playing right now, so that's like a little clip of each one, but the NFT
is it up on Makersplace yet?
I'm actually like on with you guys whilst finishing all of that.
Okay, cool.
So what the package is every single NFT. It's 6 NFTs in one. There's also a physical object. My partner is a carpenter, and he made this like gorgeous wood box that contains a brush and a can from each artist who participated. And in the center, there's a screen that plays this short film on loop in the center.
Oh, that
it's
sounds
like it's like the NFT that is going to be up for auction is the video that you see, and then which is an NFT in itself. And along with that NFT, if you win the auction, you get everyone else's individual NFT, which is their own wall that you're seeing.
Oh.
So it's like and then on top of that, you get the physical piece, which is Rachel's partner Dylan, who's an amazing woodworker, who created this shadow box with signed artifacts of each artist, like the spray can, the paintbrush that they used for their work, and that'll be also given to you. And because we just were like, what can we what can we make this thing? Like, what can we offer? And we're like, let's just offer all of it, and hopefully that like kind of makes it like this really dope offering that has every element that we could think of that would be cool, like from the video to the bundle of NFTs, everyone's individual minted NFT, and then also the physical, tangible piece of art that you can actually hang on your wall. As a thought, that was like, well, let's just give it all to them. And so we hope, like, hopefully that translates as a cool package.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hearing that, and I'm a very tactile person, and I would love to have those artifacts from everybody who worked on this. I think it's something different than, obviously you can't receive the physical mural.
Right.
So it's really cool to receive the things that were used to actually create the piece.
With the NFT in the middle, that's playing.
Yes. Yes.
That is really cool, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And, for the artists, I know they're not all here, but maybe Rachel can speak to this. Since this was like your first foray into NFTs, how has this experience given you any more, has it changed your perspective about the space or given you any sort of affirmation about what this world is like for artists?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting world for artists because, there's like we've had people who are very successful in the NFT space who don't have very much experience as an actual artist. Or I shouldn't say as an actual artist, but as a physical artist, who have been really successful in the NFT space and were kind of telling us like, you're taking too much time on this, it's too much thought, and you just want to turn something out quickly. And like, and we really held to, the fact that like all of us have been creators, some of us for like 30, 40 years, some of us for, at least 10, I would say is the minimum for how long we've all been working artists. So it was important to us to maintain the creative integrity behind our work while also integrating to the new space. And I think that's been probably one of the bigger adjustments is like, just figuring out how the work translates and wanting it to read well while it sits in the marketplace next to, this other work. And I mean, I'm pretty excited by the multiplicity that's possible in the like folding of worlds. Like, the fact that we can think about taking all of these scans, or that I could scan anything now and create kind of this world with OBJ files and people can walk through it, and people could take, that 3D scan and put it into their own virtual world to decorate their house or to, have a venue in, virtual space. I mean, it has really like blown my mind wide open as to just exactly how infinite these possibilities are.
And the collaborative part of it too, which is like really cool. I mean, just like that suggestion we just heard about, the changing over time. Like we have Rachel and like all these physical artists, and then you have this Jeremy, an animator, and like collaborating on two different mediums there. And then Jeremy just actually collaborated with one of our good friends, Human, for Sotheby's, and they just sold a piece, an NFT physical piece and an NFT at Sotheby's just a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So they're taking already like
they've already jumped in the deep end after this project.
Yeah, so like from Jeremy to go from that work with Alice or with Human at Sotheby's, and then come work together with us at the Tribune. Like we're just like basically just learning how much more collaboration is possible.
Yeah,
and which is really where I think we hopefully elevate the whole idea, which would be really cool.
Yeah, I think so too. And getting back to like what people are getting with these NFTs, there was a question from Jaboob Apple. It would be sick to buy these NFTs and then use an AR program to have the murals assimilate on the walls around you. So is that something that are they getting the AR files? Like, will they be able to use that on their own if they buy the NFT?
That is not part of our plan package for this.
Okay.
Like you've been, like we said, this is like we're just wrapping our head around the whole concept, and all of these ideas are amazing. Like this is like we've dabbled in AR. We have actually the live show is going to involve AR. Like this tonight's show will have Damien from Black Terminus, who's a local Black-owned augmented reality company that has been developing some really cool AR tech. Is basically activated all the murals at the space with augmented reality, and so it's going to be basically displaying the NFTs when you put your phone up to it. So like we didn't include the files in this drop, but it's a great idea. It's another good idea. Like it's funny the amount of good ideas we hear. Like it's just like, oh god, that sounds cool.
I mean, that's the risk you take in doing a new experiment together, and like you learn from the first time, and then the second time is even better. And I think that this is still a really successful experiment so far, even without the drop having happened yet. Just the look of it and the idea behind it and the physical that comes with it, I think is really thoughtful and cool. And also I posted the Eventbrite link for anyone that's in the Oakland area tonight. You can have a look. It's happening in, I think, 2.5 hours.
So we have
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
West
Pacific.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm also gonna put in the chat the Instagrams for, I guess, everybody, because we will be doing some live streaming from there. So if anyone wants to tap into the live stream, they can check it out and see what it's like. I think Aisha from Makerspace will be doing a live stream as well.
Oh, awesome.
So you'll be able to
on Twitter Spaces.
On Twitter Spaces. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on. I got distracted reading the stream text questions. So what else is going to be happening at the drop party tonight at Tribune Tower? Like, what can people expect when they show up?
So our plan is people will be arriving around 6. We'll have just some time for people to get settled, get a drink, hang out. It's a really beautiful open space. So there's definitely plenty of room for people to be in close proximity without being, unsafe. So we have a few vendors serving drinks. We have King Kachi, who makes Black-owned elixirs, tonics, health drinks. We have Asya from NFT Kindness Grocery Co-op. So they have a tea stand where they educate people about NFTs and serve herbal beverages. And then we have an artist panel where we'll have, I think, 5 of the artists joining us, answering questions, whether it ends up being more of a Q&A or kind of an informative session. And then we have DJ Ignacia and Stony Creation, who are 2 super dope, just like cutting edge. They play, I don't know, all sorts of stuff from lo-fi beats to like hip hop to electronic music of all kinds. So they're going to be playing. And then we have King Key and Poo-Tang Clan, who is a local rapper. She's super dope. You could probably expect to see her blowing up in the next couple years. And so she'll kind of round out the night with a performance.
That sounds like so much fun. So, and that's, how late does that go? There's a lot going on.
It's only 3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Packing it in.
That's a good amount of time though.
Yeah. The first hour is like hang out, get acquainted, have the artist talk. Second hour DJs, third hour live performance.
That's awesome. And for the drop itself, for anyone who's interested, when is that gonna be live? The auction?
It should be live tonight. It should be live the moment we, start the event.
Open the doors.
Yeah.
So that's 6 p.m. PST. The auction will be live. 6
p.m. PST. Yeah.
Dope. And one of my last questions is, you've done some mainstream outreach as well beyond the traditional NFT space. How would you say the reception's been on that?
Like people responding to, do you mean like through media or do you mean through?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
through media, yeah.
People are generally like, what the fuck is an NFT?
Yes, still.
And then you're like, okay, let's start at square one.
What is blockchain?
Yeah, but generally like very excited. And I think people are really excited to see Black and brown people in Oakland taking advantage of this
Yes.
technology and doing it in a way that is super authentic to who we are and the culture that we want to represent. And I think it's important that we make our imprint on the space and that we find our way to show our work, have our voices heard, and have an influence on what the culture of NFTs looks like. So,
Yeah.
you know, even when people don't entirely get it, they're very excited just to see us in the space and doing what we're doing.
Yeah, and it's so important to get Black and brown and marginalized groups into this space, because I feel like just the nature of decentralized finance and NFTs is about inclusivity and not having, there's no gatekeepers. And I think it's really, it's cool that Endeavors Oakland is involved in this. And I actually wanted to have Asan talk a little bit more about what Endeavors does and how they serve the community in Oakland.
Yeah, well, I think Endeavors. So Endeavors was the community arm that I kind of created from the Good Mother Gallery to have more of a broader impact on community projects. And it was actually started in the midst of the pandemic, and our first project was the Black Lives Matter mural on 15th Street on the ground. It was like the third one in the country, and it was done with some local Black artists that are friends of mine. And the goal, I think, with Endeavors is literally just to, like in Oakland specifically, to lift up the voices of those communities that are marginalized and under-resourced and underfunded, and give us a platform where we actually get to collaborate and work together to make actually, you know, bigger, better opportunities and projects that have a more of an amazing outcome. Like there's an example, I guess, with the Tribune Tower, where there's a developer where would normally come into Oakland dealing with a lot of gentrification right now, and just developers taking over a lot of the spaces by developing into communities and I guess taking over space that without any consideration of the communities that are there. And so that big conversation is, how do we work with the developer and a community work together so that we can actually kind of all have eat from the same table? And so I challenged the owners of the Tribune building, and said, hey, in the midst of all these of COVID and quarantine and George Floyd, I'm like, we have riots coming up and down our streets every day. I'm like, do you guys want to be another developer that just buys another building and displaces a bunch of people? Or do you guys want to do some community projects and work together to actually rebuild? If we're in the midst of rebuilding right now because of COVID, then I would love to have us rebuild together and rebuild in a way that we all benefit. And so I asked them to hold some space. They gave me the parking lot, and from the parking lot, I was doing community events by giving, allowing people to have safe gatherings with some heavy COVID guidelines, so that we can actually create resources for ourselves and still engage with each other, because it was, COVID was really, really hectic, and the isolation was pretty impactful for a lot of our community. And eventually ended up in the building, and from there just took over. Like, we just basically challenged the whole, do you need a cubicle in here, or can we put art and culture and take that value and pay the rent? And so we've been having this conversation for the past year and a half now, and now we're having results like this, which is, in my eyes, a way better version from where we just came from, and allowing for like a lot of opportunity for everyone. The focus on Black and brown has been definitely the fight that we've been working on, because it's one of those conversations that needs to be had.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's so good that you have developed this relationship and partnership with Tribune Tower, being this, iconic building, and having a relationship with those developers. I mean, if they can tell their other developer friends, like, hey, we should be giving back to the community. You're taking up so much space, displacing so many people over time. And obviously I'm in New York. It's a big problem here. And especially after COVID, so many people left, and there's people just buying up blocks of land to build these completely unaffordable apartments for people to live in only part-time.
That is literally happening in the upper echelon here, like where space was one of the biggest things that we lost, because I was watching small businesses, friends that own small businesses of mine that closed their doors permanently during COVID. And so we're like, what do we need right now? And I figured getting space was the next best thing to being alive at the moment. And so who better to connect with than a developer? Just had to restructure that conversation and make it so that, it made sense for everyone. And I think that's what we're trying to do right now. And we're doing it with art and culture and showing value there. And it's working.
So you have permanent access to the 5th floor at Tribune Tower. That's for Endeavor and for the Oakland mural crew to use over time.
It is going to end up being a presentation space for creatives. Endeavors is looking to hold on a lease there eventually, but I've already actually moved into their next project, which is a huge development that's going to be a community-oriented space as well. And so we're slowly moving into the realm of building permanent relationships and I'm looking to see if this NFT resource can make it so that we can own some places as opposed to just renting them. And so we're really this is a kind of a catalyst for potentially so much more bigger projects and so much more bigger opportunities for our communities. And so that is the 5th floor will be an NFT hub, if we will, because we want to be able to do hackathons in there. We want to be able to talk about crypto. We want to be able to educate the community in this whole new environment that we just discovered, and it's a resource that we should all be tapping into, and for right now it's not being shared as much as we think it should be. So we're going to try to take the helm and let everyone know what's going on.
I love that. And the wheels are turning in my head. I can see you're already doing it with tonight's event, that you've got a lot of local vendors and artists present and supporting them and allowing them to, make money off of what they do in your space. Obviously, do you have plans to have more events where, people can use this space to, promote their own services and products? Because
that's the goal. I mean, that's the goal of the space. I mean, it was cool also is that actually the vendors that we have are NFT offshoots. So how do I say this? They're also involved in NFTs. Like NFT, that's great. The market is literally a DAO. And so, that's it's really we're really trying to immerse people in the fact that this is something we should be exploring and whether I think art is just a vehicle for it right now. And I think it's going to take a bunch of different, the concept will be lifted and we're going to see a bunch of different use cases for the NFT. And I think community needs to be definitely a part of the conversation. So whether it's your small business or you're selling from, local wares to designing things to any of the projects that I see coming out of Oakland all the time, we're trying to find actually the NFT relation to it. And this is one of the hubs that can actually start kicking out those cool projects.
That's great, because you're bridging the gap with the local traditional artists that don't know about this world yet, and making it accessible for them to learn about it. Because I think it's just very daunting trying to educate yourself without somebody who knows about it helping you, because it's just a lot. I have a lot, I've got a lot of artist friends that trying to explain it to them, and even with offering the help, they're still just so daunted by everything that they don't even want to take me up on, letting me hold their hand through it. But I think that, having that physical space too for people to go to really helps people, internalize all these different concepts and maybe be inspired to come up with something new that none of us who've been enmeshed in the space have thought of, because they're a new and outside person.
I think it totally opens the door. I mean, having a tangible experience where you and especially in Oakland where Rachel and the other artists they're fairly well known, and so they have a lot of people that are inspired by them, And so when they see them do this exactly, like take their work and then dive into the NFT space, it gives them an opportunity to feel empowered to do the same thing. And so that's like that's a huge, like, it's that lead by example is kind of what we're running off, because, you know, it is hard to jump right into crypto and NFTs and wallets and all the things if you have no, like, I mean, Tracer and I are still learning. I think, you know, like whenever I see even just the people in the chat that were like saying, hey, you should try this, or have you thought about this? I'm just like, oh my God, mind blown.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. So yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of audience questions, I have another question from Subspace asking if the proceeds of these NFTs are going to go towards paying for space with future exhibits.
Actually, so Rachel and I had spoken about, you know, how did we want to actually support community with this project as well. And we individually, all the artists will be donating a percentage to their a nonprofit or organization of their choosing. Like personally, we'll be choosing Hack. I don't know if Rachel and I think Rachel and I are still talking about this, but Hack the Hood is one of the organizations that.
Hey, can you guys hear me? I don't know.
Oh, are you talking?
I hear you
now. Hear you now.
If you were talking, we missed
you.
Were
you talking? You did not hear me. Sorry. Oh, we lost her again.
Oh.
Well, yeah. So, I guess the quick answer to that question is yes. We would love to have the proceeds pay for the space and pay for more spaces to hold more shows. That's kind of the whole. That was kind of the whole point. Is like, like when I was talking to the developers of Tribune, I was like, hey, let me have the space. Let me hold the space. Let me show you what art and culture can do. And the NFT was like an option of like, how do we sell this thing and get a 10-year lease? So it's still that's definitely the goal. We just love to see how, I guess, proof of concept to see if this thing actually does well and what we can do with those resources.
That's awesome. I mean, it sounds like, you know, you're already enmeshed in giving back to the community. So any extra that you can get from NFT drops is just like a cherry on top.
Yeah, no, totally. I think that's definitely gonna be that's definitely the purpose, is to actually even get them on their own NFTs and make it so that it's not so hard to be invited into or get into the space, like by making a hub where maybe the space has a presence and anyone involved there can help out or to get launched. Yeah,
like almost, I mean, even hosting like workshops, like mint your first NFT and just like making it really easy and accessible, because, you know, it's one of those things too, like somebody can tell you about it, but if you aren't creating your wallet and like minting as they're explaining it, you're not going to retain
that's
all the information. Like
100% true. That's so true. Even at the Tribune, like we tell people about the Tribune and the NFTs there all the time, and then it's until you actually see it in person and understand like the full concept. Like a lot of people are just like, oh, that sounds interesting, but then when you get there, you're just like, what?
Yeah.
So, which is really cool too. So, but yes, I think the resource of proceeds going towards bigger, better projects and spaces is definitely part of the plan.
Yeah. Let's see, Rachel, are you with us?
I am. I was cut out for a minute.
They were asking about community give back with
oh yeah. We're planning to donate to Hack the Hood, which is a local tech equity group here in Oakland.
We actually teach youth technology, and so figured that's a good place to put some proceeds. And then
they're definitely helping balance the scales as far as, you know, Oakland's been so impacted by development of tech companies. So they're doing really important work, just making sure that Black and brown youth in Oakland have the skills that they need to enter into that
workspace. Yeah, totally. I mean, I know the situation in the greater like San Francisco area is just really difficult for up and coming artists, you know, to try and just make it there and have their own place, just based off of their art career too. You know, if you're not a tech bro, It's really hard to afford to live there.
Yes.
It's really great that you're providing that education for the community. So yeah, before we wrap up, is there anything else that we didn't cover that you want us to know about Murals of the Metaverse, or the event that's happening tonight, or any future projects that you have coming on?
I mean, definitely stay tuned to all of the creators. I think I'm going to upload a couple other creations that I've kind of been sitting on. And I know that our animator has some work out on Makersplace, and we'll be putting some stuff out on OpenSea. Bud Snow will be continuing to produce NFT work, and all the other artists you can expect to see some new stuff from right after this. So we're excited about that. We're excited to be planning the next installment of Murals to the Metaverse, or Into the Metaverse if we go with a different medium. And just like continuing to provide really epic in-person virtual experiences related to this realm.
Amazing. I'm really excited to see what you guys do next, because this drop seems really awesome, and however you extrapolate it is going to be incredible and groundbreaking, I'm sure. So
thank you.
Keep your eyes out for Oakland NFT artists. They are coming.
Yes. Yeah. This exhibition looks dope. I really wish I could be there in person. I hope that there will be lots of video and pictures taken of the live event.
Yes.
Oh, hold on. I have somebody asking me to check their DMs. Oh, no, I don't have it. I thought they had a private question for some reason, but I guess not. So with that, thank you so much for your time and energy today. I'm really excited about this project. I've shared the link to the drop in our stream text again, and that's going to be going live tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And so stay tuned, everybody, and show your support for this awesome project. Even if you're not buying, you can share it, because it's a really, really cool what Endeavors Oakland is doing and what this amazing group of artists is doing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
so
all.
much. Really appreciate it.
Sure thing. Yeah. Have a magical day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.